Rabbi Wolf Kitzes had a beloved student who was dying. When the student was so near death that it was time for his confession, Wolf Kitzes hurried to his home. When he got there, he was surprised to see the Baal Shem Tov leaving. Wolf Kitzes was a fierce opponent of the Baal Shem Tov, and he could not imagine that his dying student had turned to him. When Wolf Kitzes reached his student's bed, he demanded to know why the Baal Shem Tov had been there. The student, who was so near death that he could barely speak, was deeply hurt by his rabbi's anger and was filled with remorse. "What did you ask of him?" Wolf demanded to know. And the student weakly replied, "For help in the world to come." And Wolf Kitzes said, "Then let us make a vow with each other. Come back to me after your death and let me know if he helped you or not. And then the truth will be known. And if it is true that the Baal Shem Tov helps you, then I will drop my opposition and go to him." The student nodded in agreement, and both of them took this vow, and soon afterward the student took leave of this world. In the days that followed, Wolf Kitzes grieved over the loss of his student, yet he also wondered if the young man would fulfill his dying vow. But when 30 days of mourning were over and there was no sign of the student, Wolf decided that he had not found a way to come back. That night, however, just after Wolf Kitzes blew out the lamp, he heard footsteps, and he was amazed to see his student standing there. He looked exactly the same, but there was an aura that surrounded his body, and his face glowed as brightly as any lamp. "I have come back to fulfill my vow," said the student. "They would not let me remain in paradise until I had done so, for every vow must be fulfilled." "And did you see the Baal Shem Tov there?" Wolf asked. "Yes," said the student. "It was he who led me inside the gates of heaven." "And is he that highly regarded in paradise?" Wolf asked. "More than you can imagine. I myself heard him reveal mysteries to the fathers, mysteries, they said, that until then had been hidden behind the pargod." "And can you reveal these mysteries to me?" asked Wolf Kitzes. "I cannot reveal every word," said the student, "but this much I am permitted to say." And the student repeated one part of the Baal Shem Tov's heavenly sermon, word for word. Wolf Kitzes listened very closely, as if in a trance. When the student had finished, he said, "Now I can return to my place in the yeshiva on high. Goodbye, my rabbi." And the student walked out of the room and was gone. In the days that followed, Wolf Kitzes struggled with himself, for he felt that he must go to the Baal Shem Tov. But he was such a well-known opponent that he was ashamed to be seen there. Finally, after a week in which he got very little sleep, Wolf Kitzes went to the house of study where he knew that the Baal Shem Tov would be addressing his students. When he entered, he found the room was crowded with students who hung on the Baal Shem Tov's every word. He had hidden behind a post where he hoped none would recognize him, but as soon as he began to listen to the words of the Baal Shem Tov, he almost fainted, for they were the exact same words that his student had repeated to him. At that moment, the Baal Shem Tov said, "Not long ago I spoke these same words in paradise, and there is someone here who can confirm that this is true. Is that not right, Wolf Kitzes?" Hearing his name, Wolf Kitzes grew dizzy and had to grab hold of the post so that he wouldn't faint. For a long moment he was silent, but at last he managed to say, "Every word is true." In the days that followed, Wolf Kitzes became one of the most devoted of the Baal Shem Tov students and remained with him for many years. And his name and that of the Baal Shem Tov are linked to this day. This story is from Gabrielle's Palace, Jewish Mystical Tales selected and retold by Howard Schwartz.